Welcome to How to Play Piano Lesson 10. You've made it to double digits. Congratulations, well done. Keep going. Today we're doing something different. We're going to devote this entire lesson to specifically start working on the development of our expressive skills. Up to this point, our lessons have included the following elements. We've had a warm-up to start with, and then we've reviewed what we did the previous lesson. We've had a look at some new material, developing some new skills and new knowledge, and then you've had time to do some free play at the end, pulling out some of your old music. Today we're going to start incorporating a new element into our lesson structure. These are going to be expressive exercises where you'll develop skills that will specifically enhance your ability to create beautiful musical phrases that will add polish and professionalism to the performance of your piano repertoire. Playing the piano is so much more than finding and pressing the right notes at the right time. It's important that you're playing your notes and rhythms musically with expression and feeling that conveys emotion and meaning to your audience. We're going to work through a step-by-step process that begins by focusing on the mechanics of our interaction with the piano keys, and through the practice of various musical pieces that gradually become more complex, we'll then gradually incorporate an increasing number of elements into our technical and expressive toolbox that can be integrated into the interpretation of all the music that we decide to play. Let's begin by checking in with our posture. Firstly, make sure your back is straight and your neck is long, your shoulders are relaxed, your feet are flat on the floor, your forearms are angled down towards the keyboard or level with the keyboard, and at the end of those forearms you've got dome-shaped hands, curved fingers and lovely relaxed wrists. And it's those wrists that we're going to be focusing on for the next little while. Let's look at our right hand movement for a start and find a note for it to play. Let's go with G at the moment, and I'd like you to play it with your third or your middle finger. Play your G key just above the middle C 3 times with this rhythm. Have a go. Play that again. This time watch your hand very carefully while you play your 3 G notes. Off you go. And one last time for good luck. Watch your hand again very closely and see how it interacts with the key as you play your G note. How did the action of your hand look? Did it look like this? Were you striking the key with the movement of your knuckle? The side view would look something like this. Did your hand action look like this? Were you pulling the key down with the downward movement of your wrist? The side view of that would look like this. Were you pressing the key down with a slight finger movement? And the side angle would look like this. Were you playing your G key like this? With the downward jerk of your wrist, which would look like this. Or did you have another technique? The way that we interact with the piano keys has a huge impact on the sound that the instrument makes. If we strike the key harshly, we get a really harsh sound. If we interact with the keys in a different manner, we can work with the piano to produce a much more lyrical and musical sound. This is the starting point from which we can begin to develop our expressive ability on the piano. What I'd like to do today is offer you another way of thinking about interacting with the piano keys. Let's try a different motion. Firstly, let your right arm hang loosely by your side, and now raise it to the keys, keeping your wrist relaxed. Just like mine, it's very floppy. Next, place your hand on the keyboard in a position that will enable you to play your G key with your third finger. Make sure you've got those curved fingers, your hand is dome-shaped, your wrist is relaxed, and your wrist is either level with your hand or slightly above your hand. Now become conscious of the weight of your right arm and let the weight of your arm travel through your relaxed wrist and strong curved fingers to press the G key down. And imagine instead of striking a hard surface that you're actually pressing down a flexible surface, like a pillow. Try that again, all the time focusing on the role that your arm is playing in this process. Now we're going to loosen up our wrist, and it's this wrist movement that can really change and soften the sound that we create. This time when you press the key with the weight of your arm, allow your relaxed wrist to follow that downward movement. The side view looks like this. Now try that again, and again. Now as you press this time, once your wrist has reached its 6 o'clock position, rotate it around to the 3 o'clock position. 6 o'clock, then 3 o'clock. 6 o'clock, then 3 o'clock. This is a side view. Try that again, 6 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock, and then again 6 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock. Now as you press this time, once your wrist has reached its 6 o'clock position, and then rotate it around to the 3 o'clock position, keep rotating it up to the 12 o'clock position. The side view looks like this. Now try that again. 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock. 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock. 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Now in our final rotation, we're going to come right off the key and again have that really loose, relaxed wrist. So our entire movement is around the clock, up to the top and off with a lovely, relaxed, loose wrist at the end. I'll do that once more. Down, around, up. From the side, it looks like this. So overall, we have this movement, down, around, and up. When I'm teaching this to my young students, I often call it the swirly wrist movement. This is the movement that we're going to concentrate on developing. Our aim is for this and other gestures that we practice to become naturally integrated into our technique so that they become second nature and we don't have to spend so much brain power thinking about them. It's a little bit like driving a car. Initially, we're so busy thinking about all of the things that we need to coordinate in order to drive a car from one point to another. Movement of our feet, our hands, our arms, navigating the street, other traffic, road hazards, operating all the gadgets and buttons. But after a bit of practice, a lot of these skills become second nature and we can just get in the car and have a drive without being so focused on all of those logistics. We're aiming for the same thing to happen here. Let's look at a couple of simple pieces upon which we can practice this new wrist movement. Firstly, we're going to look at a simple piece, Tra-La-La. You can see that this short tune is not going to win any awards for musical complexity. We've got a time signature of 2/4, we've just got some crotchets and a minim, we've got one note, and all we're going to be using to play this little tune is our third finger on that E note. So to play with our new wrist movement, thinking about everything that we've just thought about, our arm pressing our finger down into that flexible key surface, through our relaxed wrist and our strong finger, our wrist doing its little swirly motion, and then coming off the key. A demo might look something like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And this wrist movement really gives it a much more lyrical and gentler sound than striking the key with the tip of our finger and a knuckle movement. So let's do that tra-la-la one more time. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. Let's do our left hand. That hasn't done much to this point. So find the E that's an octave lower, and we're going to play tra-la-la again with this hand movement. Now we haven't done that with the left hand, so we're going to do the same movement. As we press the key down, our wrist goes down to the 6 o'clock position, up to the 3 o'clock position, to the 12 o'clock position, and then off. Let's do that again. Down, around, and relaxed up. Again, down, around, and relaxed up. So if we were playing tra-la-la, we'd be going like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, and again, 1, 2, 1, 2, and off. So that's the first skill that we're concentrating on developing, this lovely, relaxed wrist movement that gives us a lovely lyrical sound. The second skill that we're going to develop is our ability to really listen to the sound that's coming from the instrument. By this I mean really engaging your hearing. Often as pianists, we're so fixated on pressing the right keys at the right time, we forget to listen to the sound that's coming from the instrument. Unlike a violinist or someone that plays a woodwind instrument who have to really listen to the pitch of their instrument, as pianists, when we need a G, we just press a G. But listening for pianists is just as important. The pieces in this exercise are designed to be simple enough for you to simply concentrate on the two skills that we're focusing on today, and that is your interaction with the keys, our swirly wrists, and really for the first time perhaps listening to the sound that's coming out of the instrument. Let's have a look at our second piece. It's called Guardsman. You can see it's very similar to our first one. We've just changed our note and it's a little bit longer. So we're still counting 2, we've got some minims in our crotchets and plenty of opportunity to practice that lovely swirly wrist motion. A bit of a demo might look something like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And we're done. The left hand would look something like this. I'm going an octave lower, I'm playing G, and I'm going to use my swirly wrist movement. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Excellent. Just to recap, this first session focused on your interaction with the keys and having that relaxed wrist movement. We also focused on engaging your hearing to become aware of the connection between your interaction with the keys and the sound produced by your piano. That's it for this lesson. Make sure that you feel completely comfortable with the skills that we've looked at today before moving on. Remember, take your time and give your brain and your fingers all the processing time that they need. Next time we'll go back to having a full lesson that will include all our elements of warm-ups, new repertoire, old repertoire, and now the added element of expressive skill development.